Picture an ancient human. You're probably picturing a hunter, spear in hand, stalking a mammoth. Apex predator, top of the food chain. Wrong. For almost the entire span of human existence, we weren't the ones doing the hunting. We were lunch, and the thing that was eating us is not what you'd guess. Ask most people what hunted ancient humans, and they'll say the obvious: lions, saber-toothed cats, maybe a bear. They're not wrong, but they're missing the one that should genuinely disturb you, because the most chilling predator of early humans didn't come at them across the ground. It came from above. Stay with me, this gets worse before it gets better. Start with the basic, uncomfortable truth. For millions of years, our ancestors were soft, slow-moving meat in a world built for things with teeth. Stand one of them next to a leopard. The leopard is faster, stronger, armed at both ends. It can climb, it can sprint, it can kill in a single motion. Our ancestor could throw a rock, eventually. For most of that time, there was no fire, no weapons worth the name, no defense beyond a head start and a good scream. By every measure that matters in the wild, early humans were not the hunters. They were the meal. And here is the most direct evidence we have of exactly that. In 1924, in a place called Taung in South Africa, a fossil was discovered, the skull of a child. Not a human child as we'd recognize one. This was Australopithecus africanus, one of our early ancestors, who lived around 2.8 million years ago. The child was 3, maybe 4 years old, weighed perhaps 10 to 12 kilograms. For decades, nobody could explain how the skull ended up where it did or what killed the child. The first guess was a big cat. A leopard, maybe. Reasonable, boring, completely wrong. In 2006, paleoanthropologist Lee Berger of the University of the Witwatersrand examined the skull in detail, and what he found rewrote the story entirely. There were puncture marks, keyhole-shaped cuts in the sides of the skull, and, this is the part that stays with you, ragged incisions inside the bottom of the eye sockets. That specific damage matched something very precise. It matched the marks left by a modern African crowned eagle when it kills and eats monkeys. The crowned eagle has a signature method. It seizes prey with enormous talons, and it goes for the skull. The talons puncture the bone, and one talon routinely goes through the eye socket to reach the brain. The marks inside the Taung Child's eye sockets were nearly identical. Berger's conclusion was blunt. A bird of prey, like the African crowned eagle, swooped down, seized the child in its talons, and killed it almost instantly. His exact words: "It is proven beyond reasonable doubt that the eagle is the killer of Taung." He said the evidence was so strong he could prosecute the eagle in court. Sit with the full picture for a second. An ancient human child, standing near the group, in daylight. And the last thing that happened to them was a shadow from above, a pair of talons, and then the sky. The eagle would have waited for the rest of the group to move off, then fed, then carried what was left back to its nest, high up, out of reach, which is how the skull ended up where it was found. Eventually kicked out of an eagle's nest, recovered by scientists 2.8 million years later. That is what was really hunting ancient humans. Not just the predators you'd expect on the ground. Death that came out of the sky and took the children first. And that is only the first answer, because the ground was not safe either. Around 1.8 million years ago, in what is now Tanzania, an early human known to scientists as OH8, a member of the species Homo habilis, left behind a foot, just a foot. Toe bones crushed and damaged in a way researchers have linked to a crocodile attack. Crocodiles were, and still are, ambush predators. They sit motionless in water, they wait, and the one moment an ancient human had to do something completely unavoidable, get a drink, was the one moment they were most exposed. Think about that trade. You cannot not drink water, and the act of drinking puts your face inches from the one predator built specifically to explode out of still water and pull you under. Every single day, every member of every group had to walk up to the water and gamble. Then there were the cats. Not the lions you're picturing. Worse. For most of human prehistory, Africa and Eurasia were home to saber-toothed cats, giant hyenas, and leopards far larger than today's. A fossil hominin skull found in South Africa, a Paranthropus, has two neat puncture holes in the back of it. When researchers compared the spacing of those holes to the lower canine teeth of an extinct leopard from the same site, they matched exactly. The animal had clamped its jaws around the back of the skull and carried the body the way a leopard today drags a kill up into a tree. These weren't rare, freak events. This was the normal condition of being an ancient human. You were a medium-sized animal in a landscape full of things that were faster, stronger, and hungrier than you. So how did we survive it? This is where the story flips. We didn't survive by getting stronger. We never got stronger. A human today would still lose a fair fight with a leopard, badly. We survived by getting together. The single most important thing early humans ever did was stop facing predators as individuals and start facing them as a group. A lone human is prey. 30 humans throwing rocks and screaming in coordination is a problem even a saber-toothed cat decides isn't worth it. Researchers studying this even argue that being hunted is part of why we became intelligent at all. The constant pressure of predators selected for the things that define us: cooperation, communication, planning, the ability to read danger and warn each other. The prey mind built the human mind. We didn't outmuscle the predators, we outthought them, together. And then slowly the balance tipped: fire, weapons, coordinated hunting. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the animal that used to be carried off in eagle talons became the most dangerous thing on the planet. But here is the final twist, the one nobody expects. Because once humans stopped being hunted by animals, something had to take the top predator spot. And it turned out to be us. In 2025, a study published in Scientific Reports examined Neanderthal bones from late Pleistocene northern Europe. The cut marks on them were not from animals, they were from tools. The pattern showed these Neanderthals had been butchered, deliberately, skillfully, by other humans. Not in panic, not in starvation chaos, selectively, the way you process prey. The researchers' conclusion was that these individuals were targeted as prey by other groups of humans. So the full answer to what was hunting ancient humans runs in a straight, dark line. First, the eagles took the children from the sky. Then the cats and the crocodiles took the adults on the ground. And finally, when nothing else could touch us, we started hunting each other. The most dangerous predator ancient humans ever faced was the one that eventually looked back at them in still water. It still is. So the next time you feel that strange jolt of fear in the dark for no reason, the instinct to check behind you, the sense that something is watching, that's not irrational. That's 2.8 million years of being eaten, wired into you, still running, still scanning the sky. You're descended from the ones who looked up in time. If that genuinely surprised you, the like button exists for exactly that reason. And if you're the kind of person who just learned your ancestors were eagle food, you already know whether to subscribe. The next question drops in a few days.